Sairam students, hope all of you are doing fine. Yes, so let's start with a new lesson today. Yes, we'll be starting a new lesson in civics. Okay, so before we go ahead with the new lesson in civics, let's have a recap as to what we did in our earlier lesson of civics. That is the fourth lesson. Yes, the name of the lesson was Fundamental Rights Part 1. And that was a part 1. So today we will be doing with the next lesson, that is Chapter 5, Fundamental Rights Part 2. Okay, so in our earlier lesson, in lesson 4 of civics, we learned about the rights of, what are the rights which we had learned. Okay, we learned about the right of liberty, equality, and the right against exploitation. So these three rights we had learned in our fourth lesson of civics. What are we going to learn today? We will be learning about the other rights which the constitution has guaranteed to us. Yes, it is the constitution who has given us these rights. Fine, so let's see what we have in this lesson. The first right, yes, in this lesson, right to freedom of religion. Now what is this right to freedom of religion? Yes, India is a big country, is a diverse country, so with so many religions, so many languages spoken, so many cultures are there. Yes, so this right to freedom of religion, what does it imply, what does it mean? Yes, we know that India is a secular country. Yes, secular country means where all religions are treated equally. No religion is the official religion of our country. So all the religions have equal status. So, according to our constitution, each Indian is free to practice any religion and to establish institutions for religious reasons. Yes, so according this, the constitution is giving us our rights. So, India being a secular country, yes, so many religions, each Indian, yes, each and every Indian citizen is free to practice any religion of his or her choice. Yes, there is no compulsion that as to you have to follow only this particular religion. You feel like you want to follow some other religion, you can freely practice that religion, follow that religion. And also you're free to establish institutions for religious reasons. Yes, you can establish institutions for religious reasons. Okay, so now these two to safeguard this, or to what you can say, in order to broaden the scope of the right of freedom, two things are not permitted. Yes, in our country, to safeguard, yes, to protect the right of freedom of religion, two things are not permitted. These things are not allowed in our country. The first one, state cannot impose religious taxes that might be used to encourage a particular religion. Our constitution forbids religious taxes. So according to our constitution, religious taxes are forbidden. They are not allowed. The government, the state, means the state government is not supposed to impose or collect any religious taxes. Yes, so if you collect any religious taxes, what will it mean? It means that you are promoting, you are encouraging a particular religion, might be used to encourage a particular religion. So a constitution forbids religious taxes. So the government cannot collect religious taxes from the citizens. Yes, because India is a secular country. Yes, everybody has freedom to choose his or her religion and follow that particular religion. And to safeguard this freedom of religion, the government has been warned, or you can say the government is not allowed to impose religious taxes on any of the citizens. Yes, so the constitution forbids religious taxes. What is the next one? Religious education cannot be made compulsory in educational institutions that receive aid from the state. Okay, so religious education cannot be made compulsory. The educational institutions, or you can say in schools, colleges, or other educational institutions, which these educational institutions which receive aid, or you can say which receive the help, yes, from the government, such institutions cannot make religious such institutions cannot make religious education compulsory. Yes, so these two things are not permitted according to our constitution. One, not to collect any religious taxes. Yes, the constitution forbids any religious taxes. And second, religious education cannot be made compulsory in educational institutions which receive aid or which receive help from the state or from the government. So to safeguard, to to broaden the scope or to safeguard the right of freedom of religion, these two things are not permitted according to our Indian constitution. So this is the right to freedom of religion. The citizen of a country, Indian citizen, is free to follow, adopt any religion of his or her choice, and the state, the government cannot deny this right of for the citizen. Okay, then the next right we see. Yes, so over here you can see in this picture that people, they have the freedom of choosing their own religion. Whichever religion they feel like they want to follow, they can follow that particular religion. Okay, the next is what we are going to learn: cultural and educational rights. Yes, so that is also a fundamental right, cultural and educational rights. Over here you can, in the picture you can see people wearing different attire, they're having different types of clothes. Yes, the languages which you speak, the traditions which you follow, there is so much of diversity in that. So to safeguard all those things, the constitution has guaranteed us the cultural and educational rights. Let's see what it has for us, what it is telling. Cultural and educational rights. Our country has a lot of diversity in festivals, food, ways of life, etc. Okay, so India being a diverse, a big country with so much of diversity in the festivals which we celebrate, the food which we eat, the way of living which we have. Yes, so all these things are a part of the cultures of the different communities. Yes, so all these things, whatever the language you speak, the festivals, the clothes you wear, the way of living, so that is a part of the culture of different communities, right? So this, our constitution has given the different communities the right to preserve their cultural uniqueness, isn't it? So this the whatever uniqueness of the culture, we each religion is having or different communities are having, so to preserve them, that cultural uniqueness has to be preserved, and the constitution has given the right to different communities to preserve the cultural uniqueness. Yes, so every community has different culture. Yes, so that is their culture which will be followed, which will be handed over to the other generation, isn't it? So to preserve, to promote all their culture, the right has been given to, has been given by our constitution. Okay, they are free to preserve their own language, script and literature, and also promote it. So different communities, they are free to preserve their own language. Yes, the script and also the literature, the novels which they have, the poems, the stories, so many things are there. So they have the right to preserve it and also to promote it. Yes, so also many people will know that such things do exist. Okay, so cultural and educational rights under Indian constitution. So we have so many languages. Yes, there's so many languages are there. Hindi also, so many variations are there. Marathi also, in Maharashtra Marathi is spoken in different, they have different dialects. Yes, so go to Konkan, there is a different dialect over there. You go to the Western Ghats, over there also you have a different dialect. You go to the Vidarbha region, over there also the way they speak, that also changes. Yes, so many languages which we have in a country. To preserve that language, to promote that language, it, the cultural communities, the different communities have been given the right to preserve their cultural rights over there. And also they can have education in through their own languages also. Yes, like in Maharashtra, if there are Marathi medium schools. You go to other states, you will have the schools having the language of that particular state. They will have school run, that language schools they will have. So that, for the basic reason is that to save, to preserve that language, and also it has to give the educational rights to learn educational right in that particular language. Okay, so this is what cultural and educational rights means under the Indian constitution. Yes. So children, what did we learn today? We learned two rights. The first right we learned was about the right to freedom of religion. Yes. So what is right to freedom of religion? It means that though in India is a secular country, so many languages being spoken, so many different types of religions are followed. Yes, so many religions are there. So according to the freedom of religion, any Indian citizen has the right to practice any religion of his or her choice, and also to establish religious institutions. Okay. And the next right which we learned was about the cultural and educational rights, where according to this right, so much of diversity is there in food, clothing, language you speak. So the constitution has given the different communities the right to preserve their cultural uniqueness, and they are free to preserve their own language, script, literature, and also promote it. Yes, so these rights have been given to us by our constitution, and nobody can deny us from these rights. Okay, so this is it for today. In our next part, we will be learning about the other rights which we have yet to learn. So till then, stay safe. Have a good day, children. Sai Ram.